But it just tells me how hard this county and your agencies are working. I know there's a neighboring county that doesn't really, might as well say they do not do children's services work. Their children, the number of children in their custody is minimal, but that's not a good thing. That just tells me they're not doing the job this county is. So I want to thank each and every one of you for what you're doing, and hopefully we can make some changes for everyone that will help the employees, the agencies, the children as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those comments. I guess the last comment I will have on this is, anytime you're talking about levies, there's going to be a knee-jerk reaction to try to make this a very political item. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democratic issue. This is a children's issue, period. And we often in this county talk about we need to be doing more for children. We need to be doing more for children. This is an opportunity to do just that. We're fixing the processes. That's happening. You've heard some of what's already happened, and there's even more coming. But even if you clean up the backlog, once again, even if we do get those 89 kids out of custody, we're still in the 200s, and you've already heard we have funding for 130. So there's some math that just doesn't work here. So I truly believe that the citizens of Scioto County want to take care of children. I think that they will see the value in ensuring that our most vulnerable are taken care of. Also, at the same time, I'm very mindful that it is a political football, and should a levy not go through, there's some very extreme steps that we, as the Board of Commissioners, will have to take, because this is a mandated service that we provide to the children of this county. So that money has to come from somewhere, and that comes from the general fund. To this point, we've been able to pay for it through ARPA funds, one-time money. Once that money is gone, it is gone. If we have to make up, several $1 million of shortfall every year, I got 2 office holders sitting in the room with us right now. We have to look at everybody's budget. We're going to be submitting budgets soon, and part of me wonders, do we have to get 2 budgets? One, if this goes through, or 2, what does it look like if it doesn't? That's the very real reality of what we're talking about here. But I still believe that the citizens of Scioto County want to take care of children, will support this initiative. This vote today is not to put on ballot, but rather to send down to the auditor's office to get a true number of what the millage will generate. This will be a topic, once we get that documentation back, this will be a topic and a vote next week, should it go on the ballot. The reason we're talking about it now is there's a deadline of August 1st, or first week of August, I don't know what the date is. So that's why we're talking about it now for a November vote. With that, can I get a motion for this resolution?
I will make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye. And thank you all once again for your time. I know but it's important that all this information is shared and people truly understand what's going on. It's not an overnight fix, but thank you for your continued effort and quite honestly, protecting our children. So thank you. Item 13.
In the matter of notification from the Ohio Department of Taxation regarding permissive sales tax.
This is a permissive sales tax for May of 22. Sales tax was $818,652. $409,327 for a total of $1,227,979.49. This is a decrease of $72,950.02 from last year. This is the second month in a row that we've seen a decrease in our sales tax. I think that's an indicator of what we're seeing with inflation. People are not going to be spending much more than they have to with the uncertainty of the price of goods. So I think that's probably what we're seeing reflected in these numbers. Any additional comments or questions?
We're in reviewing the permissive sales tax reports from across the state, comparing similar sized counties, they're seeing the same thing. We're seeing that across the state. While the state may have realized larger carryovers last year, we did too. This is happening everywhere, and I agree with you. I mean, I think this is what 3.5%, 4% decrease. So we may continue to see that. We're still ahead for the year overall. Our first 5 months was up, so we are still up overall. It is interesting to note, of course, that in 2020 and 2021, we totally replaced the loss of the MCO during those years. We are still up from over last year, so let's hope that let's hope that inflation doesn't go any higher than it is at 9.1 right now, and that we see a relief soon at the pump. I don't hold much hope out, actually, but anyways.
Any additional comments, questions? Thank you.
Motion to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of contract agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and WAI Construction Group LLC
This is
regarding ETC walking trail paving project.
Sorry, jumping on.
Okay.
This is a contract agreement between the Board of Commissioners and WAI. This is for the walking trail paving project we've been talking about out at ETC. The amount to pave the over 1 mile trail at the top section of the park, $228,580. This is paid for in part by grant money and also stumpage that we received from the state as well. Going back into recreation, Brian Howard's been doing a great job out there cutting in the trail and laying down gravel, quite honestly saving the taxpayers money to do that work himself. But now it is time to pave the trail. Any comments or questions? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution establishing a fund for the non-county participants opioid settlement fund regarding the Scioto County Commissioners.
This is a set up a fund for independently from the other funds within the county. Any comments, questions? Hearing none?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution authorizing the Scioto County Engineer to request the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation to review engineering and traffic investigation regarding County Road 59, otherwise known as Dace Road.
And once again, this is for a review engineering and traffic investigation for Dace Road, CR 59. Any comments, questions? Hearing none?
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution declaring an emergency to purchase network switches for the Scioto County Courthouse.
We have an emergency situation with our network switches. This controls all of our computer access, basically the entire network for the courthouse and the mobile offices. By doing this resolution, we will not be bidding out the project because of the time associated with that. We had a fire on one of the switches in Judge Coon's courtroom, burning up that switch. We're kind of limping along with another switch, but should it go out, the courthouse will go dark, essentially, in terms of technology. So this resolution is to move forward with purchasing the switches that our IT professional has recommended to us. Any comments or questions?
I will add that this is not something that just popped up. We've been actually trying to deal with this for several months now, and we At that time, we did bid out the process. We did find someone who had the switches that we currently have in-house, and we went through that process and finally was able to go out and do that. We finished the bidding, that was 2 months ago, but then we had to go through the process of getting the money, going out, finding the switches again. These things are not lasting long enough on the market. They just disappear because of our supply chain issues. Our system is old, very old. This is something that needed to be dealt with, that our former IT guy told us that this was coming. They've kept it alive for a long time. The technology was outdated. And basically what happened was when we went to go buy the switches that are, control everything, what was there before wasn't anymore, and then the company said, we're not making them, and we're doing an alternative, but we're looking at fourth quarter 2023 before you have access to anything. Again, another fallout from the COVID crisis or epidemic or pandemic, I'm sorry, and manufacturing and relying upon foreign manufacturing. I'll throw that one in too. So this became known. We actually had a fire in one of the switches over the weekend in one of our judges' courtrooms. Could have been catastrophic. Safety and fire is one of the reasons behind this emergency. These switches, they can start failing and will start to fail one at a time. And when that happens, that particular segment of the courthouse, whether it be the commissioner's office, whether that be the sheriff's department, it could be anybody, that will go dark. We lose our main switch, we lose the entire courthouse. We lose our government functions. That's how serious this is. So that's what this purpose is for us to have an emergency decision and resolution to replace. We have found an acceptable alternative, and the cost of that is listed here, I believe. The original cost was over $50,000. What we were going to do already, in which we bid out, but this cost $98,000. So we're below the $100,000 threshold. We are, but we still have to declare an emergency because we're over the $50,000 threshold. So this will resolve that issue. We are wanting to move fast, very quickly. The company that we are going with was on the bid, so we feel comfortable with that. But we are having to redo the entire system instead of just the switches. The technology has changed that much, and the availability, even of what we're changing to, is going to be in question in the future. So we have to move fast.
Thank you for that, and
Yes.
thank you for your work on this. I know you've been working hand in hand with our IT consultant, so thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye. Item 18, we will not be covering today. We're waiting on contracts to come back. That is the end of our agenda. Any questions from anybody in-house since we are recording? Once again, we're very mindful that we're recording right now, and we will be monitoring questions on our Facebook page. Any additional comments, Commissioner Davis?
No.
Additional comments, Commissioner Coleman? I have nothing else either. So with that, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.